up, guys? It's the Nightwing Way of Life Esports coming at you guys with another League of Legends video, here to talk about the best ADCs to replace Doublelift on TL if he is to be traded before the summer split 2020 for the LCS. Now, I think this split for Team Liquid was really bad. Obviously, everybody knows that. And, Doublelift basically went on camera saying spring doesn't matter. And then he said TL was basically a democracy. And then you have on Liquid side, you have this guy that's not trying. There's people that are trying. Broxa didn't come in until like week 4. And the issue with Doublelift's contract right now is that they might not exactly have to pay a big buyout, but since there's obviously 6 months on his contract, that's going to be a little bit of a issue right there, because having that 6 months on his contract is something that a lot of teams right now are not going to want to be the actual person to shell out the money for that. Or this is what they could do instead of actually trading him, is that you just bench him for tactical. You just bench him for tactical the entire time, which is what most likely should have happened. Like in past years, that would have just been the case. He would have just gotten benched for summer split until he's shown that he's motivated. Now, in other interviews, he has actually said he's motivated, so, that could be something that a lot of people really aren't taking in consideration. But, looking at how he's had this bad split, and looking at how I think personally they are overreacting, not like overreacting like, oh my god, my girlfriend or boyfriend cheated on me overreacting. It's like, I don't think he warranted getting traded though. A lot of teams have to stop doing this. A player has a bad split. Everybody in their career is going to go through bad splits. Yes, legendary players like Faker, Rookie, and the Shy have bad splits before. It's very possible. You want to know why? Because you're never going to play 100% always at the peak of your actual level of gameplay. So I think that getting rid of him right now or having him up for trade is not exactly the best thing. I personally think they need to just work on synergy and a lot of different things. A lot of people have cited coaches and there being a rip between that and them, with Doublelift probably wanting one thing, the coaches want another thing, him not performing on Senna. Like, those are things that all have been building up over the split. Or maybe Doublelift was like, hey, I kind of want out of this and I want to go to another team. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying, well, what about his girlfriend on TSM? I literally do not think that it's his girlfriend obviously influencing him to join TSM after what he has gone through for Team Liquid. You know what I mean? Because you factor in, he was on Liquid for since 2018, now leading into 2020, and his girlfriend has obviously worked for TSM for quite some time when he was on TL. So I know people are gonna probably say that. I don't really personally believe that. I think, after everything that has been building up, I think it's just a thing where you're just ready to move on. It might just be that, if he's up for trade, then at least Steve is willing to find him a top tier team. That goes into my next thing before I go into the ADC part, is what other team, if you just throw out TSM and Cloud9, which are the other perennial orgs in the LCS at the current moment in time, and TSM and Cloud9 have always been that, but let's just throw them off of the conversation just for the moment, is that who else can he really go to? And that goes into my ADC point, so it lands up perfectly. So, 100 Thieves have Cody Sun. Now, Cody Sun is actually a ADC that does really well outside of team fights, positions really well. He knows when to get the max amount of damage out. He is an ADC where he can play weak side, low econ to like the absolute perfect T to make an absolute change for your roster if you need it. Now, if Team Liquid had Cody Sun, kind of would be this like blast from the past type thing, because at one point when Immortals were obviously not going to be in the LCS in 2018, Cody Sun was supposed to be on Team Liquid before they got Doublelift to make that super team at that moment in time with Olay, Impact, Smithy, Pole Belter, and Doublelift. You also have the controversial pick in Sneaky. Now, I personally don't think that TL would take the chance on Sneaky. And it's not because he's bad or I think he's a bad player. And he's also had a couple of bad splits in his career. 2015 summer was pretty bad. Just looking at it from a split perspective, not like, the Gauntlet and Worlds. You have just last split he played, he looked pretty bad. But in spring, he looked really, really good. I think that if you get Sneaky, you bring in the fans, which I don't think Steve exactly wants anymore, because looking at what the TL is going to go through with the fans complaining that Doublelift is going to be up for trade after one bad split, but Doublelift and Sneaky's fans are a little bit more different. Sneaky's fans are a little bit more lenient on him, given his, extravagant streaming lifestyle. I personally think that it's not a bad thing to get Sneaky, despite the contrary belief. I just personally think that Steve will look at him and go, no, it'd be cool for a narrative standpoint if they had Sneaky. I don't think Sneaky's bad. He can play weak side and win lane. Because Sneaky is probably the best choice out of everybody I'm going to talk about, because he can win lane sometimes and then carry, and he's really good in team fights. He's like the perfect player you need for like that Jackie Love level. So if he's going to be like a Jackie Love for TL, I'm fine with him. But if he's going to be a player like he was last split, where he was just losing constantly, TL's not going to want that anymore, and it depends on how dedicated he is. A lot of people have brought up that he's not really dedicated at the current moment in time, but he was ready in the offseason to keep playing with Cloud9 until, their type of situation happened. So I personally think that if you want the highest ceiling going through all the ADCs I'm going to exactly look at, you have Cody Sun, you have Sneaky, and then I'll throw in Tactical right now. So Tactical, I think that's the more safer bet, cheaper option. They'll basically just say, hey, Doublelift, we're just going to run with Tactical. And then maybe if it's like, hey, I got to make playoffs and Tactical is losing you a bunch of games, then they could throw in Doublelift at that current moment in time. We've seen that before with a lot of past LCS, LEC, LPL, LCK rosters. Like, they bench a player, and then the team is doing kind of bad. They're about to miss playoffs, and then they throw in the star player. He wins them a game. Then they start him again. It's happened a lot of times in different roles at that moment in time, too. Nobody's going to want Stixay. Let's not even go over that. Johnson, will he leave Dignitas? Dignitas, from how they interacted with Cloud9, they want some money for their players. I mean, they thinking they're Cloud9 over here farming up some LCS talent. So the buyout perspective on Johnson and Doublelift, I think Doublelift being a fit for TL is not gonna happen anymore based off what's been going on, as we already know. So Johnson fitting TL, I think he played just fine if he were to go over there. You got Bang. I think Bang is not gonna leave EG, but I think that I don't know if TL would work with Bang. Because they've already had an ex-SKT world champion ADC before. Didn't really work out the way they wanted to. So I think they're going to stay away from the import ADCs. Wild Turtle on Team Liquid, let's not even go there. All of us watching know he's not. He would never cut out for TL. Come on. FBI, they do have Surenfire. They did play Surenfire, but they were not going to play him initially because of Broxa coming in. When they realized that Broxa wasn't, they played Surenfire, but TL want a shot at, championships. Like, even if you don't think Sneaky is good or Cody Sun is good, like, in laning, they have made it to the finals before. Like, they have proven at least they can almost get you a title. Sneaky obviously has won titles before. Like, if you're looking at Stixay, people can say, why not Stixay? He sucked for a long time. Johnson is relatively new, but working with Dignitas and how they work with Cloud9 for that Vulcan buyout, they want that money. They want that fat moolah. Drop bitches, get money is what they want. Bang, they already had a Korean ADC at one point. It did not work out. Wild Turtle, ooh, man. Don't go down that road. And then, like I just mentioned, FBI is like, is he really going to be what TL need, though? Like, he's basically just a Varus one-trick, from my own personal opinion. Now, an underrated pickup to me would be Apollo. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh my god, is Apollo like this insane ADC? Not necessarily, but I do believe he had a really good split. I do believe he can play weak side, and if he's paired with Core JJ, I think we might be able to look at him in a different light than we did before. You know what I mean? I think that we are able to look at him differently depending on his support. But we've never actually seen him away from Hakuo. That's the thing. His thing is that he doesn't want to play away from Hakuo. There's the joke in my podcast where they'll literally be playing to the end of time. Like, we could all be literally freaking dead or getting laid by the hottest girl in the world, and they'll be still playing together. Crazy, right? And then here's the most likely of things that I'm thinking about is basically, you know how TSM traded for Biofrost in the offseason? Straight up trade. TL get Kabe, and Team Liquid give Doublelift to TSM. Just a straight up trade. You get one contract, I get the other. Straight up trade. I think Kabe could work perfectly fine on TL. I think Kabe has played really well, honestly. I think he's proven that he's definitely worth an import slot. Low econ, if he's winning lane, he's going to push his advantage. We just saw in the playoffs when he was winning, he was certainly winning the games for them. In the 100 Thieves series, he was a really bright, shining star. He wasn't anything special in lane, but that's not his thing. His thing is not to be special in lane. I mean, I don't personally know. We've never seen him with a truly aggressive support, except Mickey X. That was a long time ago on Splice, but I think it's most likely they just trade Kabe for Doublelift. We know if Doublelift went to TSM, they would not have that situation of a sub. No way them of all people are taking that. It's better, in my own personal opinion, if TL and TSM just switch. I think Kabe is what they needed, and I think that TSM is what Doublelift could fit in with. Crazy, since he was on TSM before. But I personally think that the sum of the parts, is that how that saying goes? Where I think Kabe will make up for the sum, and Doublelift will make up for the sum of TSM's losses. It's not to say that Kabe was bad. It's just that I think if you switch them, like they did back in the Immortals and CLG, when they switched Dardoch with Xmithy, I think you get to see which team will benefit from which player. Now, those are my only big candidates, so I'm going to run it down again. TSM switches Kabe with Doublelift. Sneaky over Doublelift. I think that's not bad. I know people are going to be like, well, cosplaying, you know, stuff like that. I mean, if he's going to join the roster, and if Steve wants to accept him, I think he needs to buckle down and go, okay, I want to get my spot back. I want to show people that I'm still a good ADC. He was always perennially, top 3, top 4 in his role. Maybe if he proves that, and then, hey, that'd be hype though, seeing TL go after, fight Cloud9 with Sneaky. Crazy. But yeah, my first choice is going to be them switching Sneaky and Cody Sun, or if they're going to shout the money, you got Johnson. But this is also content on these teams willing to sell these ADCs. That's why the straight up trade works better. But as you guys know, Sneaky is an advisor for Cloud9, so that obviously might not be the case, but it's things that happens. We've seen players in like CSGO become owners of orgs and literally just play for different teams. It's always something you can basically loophole through these contracts and how you're working. But even if you're looking at the Academy League, there's that 180 King. He played on Mammoth last year. He's on Cloud9 Academy. I think he'd be a perfect fit for TL. But, you know, at that point, why not just play tactical? Like there's not many 80 carries in the LCS Academy. I mean, there's definitely, but, like, come on. It's definitely, come on. But, at the end of the day, hopefully TL get to trade Doublelift, and seeing TL with the new ADC after 2 years. You know what I always said, guys? If you are not achieving what you want, switch it up. But maybe they took that a little too far. I meant switch it up if you're trying to get like 4 splits. It's like, hey, you probably want to switch it up. You don't have to switch it up after like 1 split. It's like 1 bad split you've had. TL has not had a bad split since 2017. Now, back in the day, a lot of us back in the day watchers, we know TL used to suck. 4th place, Golden Glue, reign over big contracts. Like, come on, we know. But I think 1 bad split isn't really indicative of trying to switch up the roster. And who knows? Maybe they're trying to get more people in. Who knows? Because Impact played real shitty. Fucking Core JJ. They're not taking out Core JJ. We're not talking about. It's literally just Impact that's literally the player that might be on the chopping block. Because, you know, they played pretty bad. And they literally placed 9th. Like, that is well below expectations. A lot of people were like, they're going to make first or at least worse if TSM and Cloud9 come on like 3rd. They finished 9th. That's a big downward trajectory for this team. But luckily, I am glad about 2 things. I am glad that he is willing to make a change. I think it's a little too soon to make the change, though. You know, does 1 bad split really dictate someone's career? You know what I mean? But yeah, I personally think that these are the best ADCs to obviously play for TL. Sneaky, Cody Sun, Kabe, and Johnson. And Apollo was like my underrated 5th pick. So yeah. That's it, guys. Stay safe, like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy on the Nightwing, and Way of Life Esports is signing out.
Hi there, guys! Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.